Did you know that over 2 million Americans become first-time gun owners every single year, and most of them make at least one critical mistake within the first few months that could put themselves or someone they love in real danger? If you or someone close to you has recently brought a firearm into your home, this video could genuinely be one of the most important things you watch today. We're going to walk through 5 common mistakes new gun owners make, and more importantly, exactly how to fix each one fast. Before we dive in, if you find this helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe so you never miss our updates, and drop a comment below telling us how long you've been a gun owner. We'd love to hear your story. Now, let's get into it, because this is where things get really important, and I want you to stay with me all the way through, because each of these 5 mistakes builds on the last one. Let's start with the very first mistake, and honestly, it might be the most surprising one on our list today. Mistake number 1 is neglecting proper training. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. I've watched plenty of videos online, I've read the manual, I think I've got a pretty good handle on things. And you know what? That kind of confidence is completely understandable. When a lot of us were growing up, maybe a father or grandfather handed you a rifle and said, "Here, this is how it works," and that was the extent of the lesson. Times were different. But here's the thing, owning a firearm today, in a world with busy neighborhoods, complex home layouts, and high-stress situations, is a completely different responsibility than it used to be. Without proper professional instruction, most beginners, no matter how smart or careful they are, end up developing subtle bad habits. We're talking about things like an improper grip that puts strain on your wrist, or a stance that throws off your balance and accuracy. And here's why that matters so much. Bad habits in shooting are like bad posture. Once they become muscle memory, they are genuinely hard to unlearn. The fix here is straightforward: enroll in a basic firearms safety course or a concealed carry class taught by a certified instructor. You don't have to be young or physically elite to benefit enormously from this kind of training. In fact, many instructors say that older, more patient students actually progress faster because they listen carefully and don't rush. Focus first on the 4 universal safety rules, then build from there with basic marksmanship. Everything else follows naturally once that foundation is solid. Now, moving right along to mistake number 2, and this one catches more people off guard than almost any other issue on our list: misunderstanding gun laws. Here is something that surprises a lot of new gun owners: gun regulations in the United States are not uniform. Not even close. What is completely legal in one state can carry serious criminal penalties just across the state line. What is permitted in a rural county might be flat out prohibited in the city 30 miles away. This isn't a political statement, it's just the reality of how American firearms law works, and it trips up well-meaning, law-abiding gun owners every single day. For example, did you know that attaching a vertical foregrip to certain pistols can actually reclassify that firearm under federal law in a way that makes it illegal without special registration? Most people have no idea. Or consider this: if you have a concealed carry permit from your home state and you travel to visit family in another state, that permit may or may not be recognized there. Some states have reciprocity agreements, others don't. The solution is to research your specific state and local laws through official government websites or trusted legal resources. If you plan to carry concealed, apply for the proper permit and take the time to learn exactly where you are and are not legally allowed to have your firearm. A little homework up front saves an enormous amount of heartache later. Alright, let's talk about mistake number 3, because this one costs people money and causes real safety problems: buying low-quality accessories. Here's a scenario that probably sounds familiar. You've finally made the big decision, you've done your research, you've picked out the firearm that feels right for you, and by the time you've paid for it, your budget is stretched pretty thin. So when it comes time to buy a holster, you figure, how different can a $30 holster be from a $100 one? As it turns out, the difference can be enormous, and in some cases, genuinely dangerous. A cheap, flimsy holster that doesn't properly cover the trigger guard can actually allow the trigger to be accidentally depressed while the gun is holstered, which is every responsible gun owner's nightmare. And low-quality magazines, those spring-loaded feeding devices that hold your ammunition, are one of the leading causes of firearm malfunctions. When a gun fails to feed properly in a moment when you need it most, that is a serious problem. The fix? Invest in a reputable, rigid holster, ideally made from a durable material called Kydex, from trusted brands like Tier 1, Safariland, or Tier X Arms. And when it comes to magazines, stick with factory magazines or high-quality aftermarket options from manufacturers with proven track records. Think of quality accessories the way you'd think about good shoes. It's worth spending a little more to protect yourself properly. Now here's mistake number 4, and this one tends to sneak up on even careful, conscientious gun owners: poor maintenance and storage habits. Picture this: you've taken your training course, you understand the laws, you've got quality gear, and your firearm sits in a soft foam-lined case in your closet, untouched for 6 months. You feel good about this because it's tucked away safely, right? Here's what's actually happening though: that soft foam can trap moisture directly against the metal of your gun, quietly encouraging rust and corrosion over time. And when you finally pick it up again, you might find it's not quite as reliable as it once was. On the flip side, some new owners do try to maintain their firearms but make the common mistake of using the wrong products. WD-40, for example, which is a fantastic product for many household tasks, is not appropriate for firearms. It can actually gum up the action over time and attract dirt. And over-lubricating a gun, thinking that more oil equals better performance, can cause its own set of problems, particularly in dusty or sandy environments. The right approach is to buy a dedicated firearm cleaning kit and use only gun-specific solvents and oils designed for the job. For storage, consider a quick-access safe or a sturdy lockbox. These keep your firearm secure from unauthorized hands, which is especially important if grandchildren visit, while still keeping it accessible to you when you truly need it. Proper care isn't complicated once you have the right tools and the right routine. And now we've arrived at our 5th and final mistake, and this one is something almost every single new shooter experiences at some point: anticipating recoil, which shooters call flinching. Here's what happens: your brain is smart, maybe a little too smart for its own good sometimes. It knows that when you pull the trigger, there's going to be a loud bang and a sharp kick of recoil. And so, just a fraction of a second before the shot breaks, your brain sends a signal to your hands and arms: brace yourself, push forward, get ready. The result? Your shot lands low and to the left, if you're a right-handed shooter. Your target is untouched, and you're left wondering what happened. This is incredibly common, and the wonderful thing is that it is completely fixable with a bit of patient practice. One of the best tools in a shooter's training kit is something called dry firing, which means carefully practicing your trigger pull on a verified, completely empty firearm, with no ammunition present at all. Without the bang and kick, your brain slowly unlearns the flinch response, and your trigger technique becomes smooth and consistent. When you move back to live fire, focus your eye on that front sight post, breathe steadily, and try to let the trigger break feel almost like a surprise, rather than something you're bracing for. Over time, with repetition and patience, the flinch fades, and your accuracy improves in a way that will genuinely delight you. So let's take a gentle walk back through what we've covered today, because each of these 5 mistakes is connected. It starts with getting proper training, because that foundation shapes everything that follows. It continues with understanding the laws in your area, because confidence without legal knowledge can create serious problems. It grows with investing in quality accessories, because your gear is only as good as the safety it provides. It deepens with good maintenance and smart storage habits, because a well-kept firearm is a reliable one. And it polishes itself through patient trigger practice, because accuracy isn't about strength, it's about stillness, consistency, and trust in your own training. The beautiful truth is this: responsible gun ownership is something that genuinely gets better with time, attention, and the right guidance. And you are clearly already on the right path, because you're here, asking the right questions, taking the time to learn. That matters more than you might realize. There is a real sense of pride and confidence that comes with being a firearm owner who truly knows what they are doing, and the steps we've walked through today are your roadmap to getting there. Coming up in just a moment, we're going to bring everything together and leave you with a few final thoughts that I think will really stick with you, so don't go anywhere, because the best part is just ahead.